because they can, but the end result here shouldn't be as good as what they were expecting during the draft. So now it's a matter of exactly what the panel was talking about, I think it's mainly about getting Tomato into the game. Huskar is a very hit or miss hero. I personally don't like it as a safe laner because I think he really needs levels. And sharing that, a big part of this hero's impact on games and why it wins is that it wins its lane and snowballs. And in this case, it might win its lane, but can it still snowball as hard when it's like 2 or 3 levels lower when you come to the mid game? Are you going to be able to get the Aegis at the same timing? And also, if you're winning your lane, you're shutting down an off-lane DK. You're not shutting down, you know, a mid-lane hero that you would have maybe slowed down the progress of that couldn't make rotations to side lanes for that reason. So a lot of the time, I know this is like a long monologue about Huskar, but I think it's really important because it's such a specific hero that its win rate isn't even that ridiculous in general in Dota history, right? In this tournament, I think it's 4-0.
It's 4-0 here. Yeah,
but it's because when you pick it against, say, melee mids that are dependent on levels and rotating to find their game impact, and you shut that down.
Because those have all been games, right, where it was played mid, right?
You just really ruin the game flow of the enemy team. But if you're playing it in the safe lane and you're winning that one, it's just the overall impact on the game is so different in nature that I think even if Tomato has a great game,
I mean, look
I wonder
at this
if it's even good for Huskar in general, you know, to be played in the safe lane. So I feel like we'll learn something today in this game. The matchup with Tusk sounds really strong. I think this is a very good dual lane if you do have to dual lane the Huskar in the safe lane. Tag team is great. Huskar's good at attack speed when he gets Berserker's Blood. And yeah, I think they'll be doing well up here. Mid lane, Sniper against Necro should be an interesting one. Honestly, don't have very much frame of reference for this. I feel like Sniper should do very well with a couple of levels, but right in the beginning, Necro's probably fine. And down bottom, Phoenix Slardar against Lich plus Luna. Lich Luna should be having a field day here, right? You're playing double ranged against Slardar. You have Frost Shield. You have a lot of damage. Yeah, I do think overall Falcons are looking pretty healthy with the way this is set up.
I mean, when you're playing Huskar in the safe lane, does your build-up change? Or is it just exactly the same? Because I imagine you can't really afford to get any real farming item on this hero, right?
No, surely you have to buy Armlet, right? You have to buy Armlet and an upgraded boot, probably. Maybe you can go with brown boots. Yeah, I would imagine the build is the exact same, just that you hit the timing later and you have fewer levels. Crit's really trading with Tomato here.
He's happy to do so. He's got a fair few tangos here ready for the lane on Crit. Very happy taking those trades. See in the mid lane, so far, Brawl definitely doing a good job on the CS against Malrine with the first few waves. I'll see if that does change as the levels start to come in for Malrine, and he's going to have that increased amount of damage that he can trade back at the Necrophos from a safe distance.
Do you like the sniper gun?
It's the fancy one, right?
Yeah.
On bottom, might have a first blood here. We do indeed. Skeet up.
Yeah.
It's taking him down. The one thing though about that sniper, it is a bit pay to lose.
How come?
Because the animation, the attack animation, right? You imagine Sniper's normal attack animation.
Oh,
you barely see it.
It's
this one, it's like, this is where my bullets are coming from.
Right, I see.
But it looks very cool, so it's always worth to do it. In my sense, it's just pay to lose because to use it, I have to pick Sniper.
That is actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I think people are not particularly good at picking this hero in the right conditions in pub games.
No. I mean, do you think this pick actually was something that Tundra had on their minds at all, that Falcons could have done? When they were banning out the Lina and the Viper, if they were thinking more about Sniper and they could have gone back, would you have banned Sniper over either of those heroes if you're trying to make this mid-Huskar? Or is it kind of a lose-lose anyway with that sort of point, with those 3 heroes left available?
I honestly think Sniper is the most manageable of those 3 for their lineup, so I don't really mind it. But the question is, if all 3 of them are good enough, should you even have taken this approach to begin with the Huskar, right? But we'll come back to that when we see how this game unfolds.
They should get crit.
Crit's dead.
They trapped him in with the shards.
Marsh.
He was thinking about trying to take down Tomato in return, but he does the maths and knows that he won't have enough damage quite to trade favorably with Tomato, so he'll hold back.
Yeah, DK against Huskar is kind of a fun matchup in the sense that Dragon Knight is very tanky against every aspect of Huskar, except when the Burning Spears stack up to like a massive amount. So Tomato isn't actually just shutting down Amar in this lane as much as he would probably like to. It's going to get a lot easier when more points come up in the Burning Spears, but for now Amar has more or less the same CS as that Huskar. Actually, he's a little bit ahead even. So he should be feeling very happy about this result on the DK. This bottom lane, man, I don't want to play Slaughter in this lane. Let me tell you, this is going to get worse and worse. With Lich and Luna getting more levels, you're going to get spammed.
Look how low they're getting, both of them.
Yeah, it's just... There's no winning here because the way Phoenix will usually play lanes together with a hero like Slardar is very much in an aggressive way. And when the enemy team can stand their ground against your Slardar, the hero loses its purpose in lane. That's why we've even seen in this tournament a team first pick respawn Lich into Slardar, right? It's like literally #1 first response. Tundra let it through, and so far in this bottom lane, I'm maybe saying paying the price is a bit of an exaggeration because like Kasane is doing fine, but maybe it's kind of a repetition of the top lane. It's like, well, if your Slardar is drawing, is that good enough, right? Like, are you happy to do okay on a hero like Slardar and Huskar? I don't know. Tomato, as well as Whitemon, taking some big damage here. The Swarm landed on both of them, so definitely trying to put on some pressure here. Giving Crit his Weaver again is a bold choice, to say the least.
I think as well now, looking over towards the mid, it's getting to the point where...
the double headshot!
It's not easy for Brawl to lane against this sniper anymore. No, and now the levels are there. You got this sort of the 3 points in the passive here from Malrine. It's not fun to stand in lane now as Necrophos. Malrine's got to bully you out pretty much every single time. 28-12 against the 24-3. That difference is only going to increase by quite a bit. This is not... I mean, what do? You obviously have to come back to the mid. Are you calling for some sort of support backup? Is there anyone that can come mid to try and punish the sniper?
Yeah, honestly, this is a really tricky situation for Tundra because the hero that can rotate and maybe kill mid would probably be the Tusk, right? But if he leaves Huskar alone, Huskar is not a strong laner in a 2v1 situation. He's very vulnerable. Even against DK Weaver, I think you can die or at least get bullied away. So if Tusk rotates toward mid to help the Necrophos, you're opening up that window top. And do you even kill the sniper until Necro is 6? Is the other question, because what if the rotation is in vain?
Bottom. This time round,
surprising
they'll be able to get Skeeter. They've got enough to take him out. Crit's going to be there with the response. So Kasane will fall in return. Same time top, they abused the fact that Amar was left on his own. Tomato able to push forward for the kill.
That's honestly so important that they killed the Luna there because that whole thing snowballed all of this, right? First of all, they're getting the kill there, which is unexpected to me that they would be able to find that. And then that rotation in turn, or that forced the rotation from Weaver, leaving Amar vulnerable. So all of that was like one snowball effect that kind of salvaged the laning stage for Tundra that was already starting to look very weak. Now they solved 2 side lanes in one fell swoop, kind of. So that's pretty big for them. Necro's still not too happy, but he can get there.
Crit's going to see if he can get over to the Wisdom Rune in time for a potential steal. See who's able to click it quickest. It is going to be Crit. So both Wisdoms going the way of Falcons.
Yeah, that pretty much offset everything they just did.
And in the mid, they've got the sight. Marine, can he bring down Brawl with him? He can't. Brawl and Whitemon, they'll get away with the kill.
Clutch.
Bottom. Kasane is going to try and turn back in with the crush. Crit nearly picking off Immersion behind the tower. In fact, does so with the bugs. They should have the chance of getting both of them. The 3 of them surround Kasane. Falcons making sure that good things happen now on this bottom lane. Crit having a great time once again as he was on the Weaver in that first game.
He's being an absolute menace. And this is a really good timing for the rotation as well because you have the siege wave. So you're actually starting to do a pretty big dent into this bottom tower, losing about half of it. Tundra trying to make a move of their own.
And they can go again, bottom. They've got the pull here onto Immersion.
Oh boy.
And as soon as he's back to the lane, he's going to be going back out of it. Another kill hit for Skeeter to get involved in.
Snaking dice to the tower. Okay, well, bit of a trade-off there for Tundra, I suppose. And as a matter of fact, Tundra will be the ones getting a tower here. So Tomato will take down this entire top tower without a siege creep, but just by nature of being Huskar with an armlet, this is bound to happen.
I mean, and as sort of a safe lane Huskar as well, once you've got this armlet done, are you sort of sitting in this area of the map, or do you move yourself over to try and pressure other lanes? How do you try and really abuse this sort of timing on the armlet as you want to as a Huskar?
I'm not a disgusting Huskar player, so I wouldn't know. And if I had to play Huskar, I wouldn't play it safely, so even less I think you probably, in this game, you probably need to keep farming a lot, I think. So kind of playing it a little bit like we saw the lifestealer of Skitter play in the last game. Push out the lane, do the hard camp, even do the small camp as well. I guess you also have the luxury with taking this top tower of accessing the enemy Ancients, which can be a little bit dangerous, of course. Actually, Tomato dies!
Oh!
Amar just...
That was solo, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was even... While you guys were watching this on your screens, I was watching it and I was in disbelief that he just got away with that.
I mean, talking about people doing all their own, we might see Marine be able to take out the two of them. He's taken out Immersion. Can he bring down Whitemon as well? The bash is there. He needs a few more headshot procs. He's going to get the backup of Skeeter. He will fall, but not before he takes out Whitemon as well. Does mean that Skeeter's caught in a bit of a tough spot between Kasane and Brawl. The scythe is up. Tundra will end up getting the cleanup on that one, taking out both the mid and the carry from Falcons.
This game is something. There's like literally tons of plays happening that kind of, it almost feels like shouldn't be, right? There's just so many... Yeah, it's just chaos. Huskar gets solo killed by Dragon Knight top. He gets stunned as he is armlet toggling, I think, and then he died.
I think that must have been what happened, yeah.
He died to an attack from the Elder Dragon form poison. And then this whole situation with the sniper play turning out this way, it seems a little bit unpredictable right now which way this is going. And all in all, I guess that's good for Tundra because the laning stage was starting to look kind of grim for them and they managed to break things open quite well. And yeah, while Kasane is not having the greatest game on Slaughter, maybe it's a game where Slaughter doesn't have to come up that big. As long as he can get a dagger off.
They're diving in for Skeeter. He's looking very dead. Tomato heads over with the twin gates. Make sure there's no chance for Skeeter.
And straight back top. I kind of like this. Like we talked about, Huskar needs to farm, but you know, if it's a gate move, this is a very minimal investment of time to get a big kill. Straight back up to top again to continue that farming pattern that he's got going.
Crit deep behind the tower. They're getting some good info for Falcons. They know that the three of Tundra are trying to set up some sort of defense. And they will respect it. Further backup also to be coming in. Actually, it gets cancelled upon top lane.
Not again, surely. Oh boy.
Ooh.
It was close. It was happening.
All right. I mean, at that point, it's happened twice. I don't know if you want to come back up here, right? If Amar's able to do this with the dragon form, a little bit of tick damage over time.
I mean, to put it bluntly, that's just not good enough. You know, like you can't have your safe lane Huskar get solo killed twice by an offlane Dragon Knight. Amar's game is insane now. He's almost top net worth.
He's pretty much got his Midas stuff.
He's level 9.5. Huskar's level 7. Like, I mean, fair enough, he's almost level 8, but like, these solo kills are just way too impactful. I think the first one, he got the stun into Breathe Fire kill, and this time it was a failed toggle, right? I think this time around it was the Elder Dragon form poison that did him in. We've already covered how the side lane Huskar was not plan A, but if he even starts losing the lane to offlane DK, the Tundra lineup is very vulnerable in terms of timing.
Ryle. Didn't quite catch him with the blood grenade. Even so, may have been all right. Ryle will live. Top lane, they're going to try and make a play with the two of them. But the stun's there. He'll try for the TP out, but they have the snowball. Amar, this time, will be dealt with. As Tomato, he brings in a friend. Whitemon there to help out.
The tips per minute in this game is pretty high. Coincidentally, every situation that has involved a tip has had Amar in it. Whether giving or receiving. But that's how it is though, right? If you want to give, you have to be able to take it too.
See around the mid. Crit.
Easy time lapse. Oh, good shards? Well, no backup.
Oh, nobody else is coming.
Kind of an awkward spot here.
Now Tomato, he might get caught out by this wraparound. He's farming pretty deep on the top lane once
Skitter
again.
bot as well.
And indeed, it's going to be both carries going down in harmony. Top and bottom there, Tomato and Skeeter, both taken out. But with sort of the nature of the heroes, probably continues to be a bit more painful for the Huskar.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? Is that you look at the Tundra lineup and the timing that this strategy is trying to play for with Huskar Necro as a dual core, it feels very mid-game centric. So if Luna and Huskar both die in trades a couple of times, I think the Luna is the hero that's going to do a better job at recovering through Ancients and just an overall slower pace of game. And also, she has so much other right-click physical damage in her team that she doesn't even necessarily need to do that much. Just being in the fight, having an aura and staying alive. You've got Weaver, you've got the mid-sniper. plenty of right click where that came from. And the Dragon Knight, as we've established, is having a way too good game for what he should have in theory, running that Midas. Amar is going to become big in this game on the Dragon Knight unless Tundra really kick up the speed here and start taking a Roshan and some towers. So
Crit once again proving to be rather annoying here for Tundra, just getting good information with his moves he's making for Falcons. Now also on the side of Amar, do they want to try something here? Kasane, he has got backup. See them ready to turn and fight Tomato, he's there, they jump straight over towards Amar. There's a bit of a bait there, works out perfectly for Tundra.
That's a great punish. The Dragon Knight's not tanky, right? Like, he's Midas. So if he gets jumped on with Corrosive Haze and a Huskar, that's a kill. And the beautiful thing about this rotation as well is just such a natural transition into Rosh, right? So this is exactly what Tundra needed to do. Find a moment of weakness, exploit it, get the Rosh, and now it's going to be very telling how they play this Aegis. Because I think you have to use it. You know, you can't just be like, okay, the enemy team isn't getting their Aegis, now we're just going to chill and farm up. It feels like this is the kind of Aegis where you're looking to at least get a couple of towers and ideally perhaps shut off the enemy triangle if you can.
This twin gate move might give them the chance to find Amar. He'll see Tomato down the wave, so Amar will play it safe enough. The three of them.
Plenty of smokes available for Tundra if they want to, if they're feeling it. But one on each support, and the rotation coming over from Necro, who also has the Boots of Travel, and Blade Mill, interestingly, here.
Yeah, they've got some of these early timings now. Blade Mill on the Necrophos, Halberd done on a Huskar. They're ready to fight. A little too deep here, though, under the tier 2, and move that Whitemon should pay for here. Gets caught under the tower, they burn through immersion.
Boy, this is bad.
They'll even be able to look to chase out Prowl as well.
That's real bad.
As there's no escape for him either. As soon as they get that Aegis, they really wanted to try and force for a move, but it cost them 3 heroes. They get nothing.
I think that was a full-on bait from Malrine, too. I actually think Whitemon might not have clicked the sniper in that situation and identified that there was a pike, because he willingly got snowballed and then just piked into tower. And Tundra got caught in this really awkward limbo where they're better off just completely selling their Tusk instantly and trying to get out. It's kind of what they did. They just couldn't get back, so losing 3 heroes there, losing some valuable time on their Aegis. At the very least, that one's still in the hands of Tomato, but...
Oh, in the mid. Is he going to be able to get out of this one?
Over this.
He will. Make sure that he doesn't die to the Assassinate. Having to defensively Supernova.
Doesn't feel that great. You stay alive, but now there's another part of this Aegis timing that will essentially be wasted, because you're not likely to look for a flat-out just balling down for a tower with Supernova on cooldown. It's kind of an integral ability. This dagger now on Amar will be safe, too. Keep ramping up, building toward BKB. I reckon this is just the kind of game where you just go for this, like, flat-out just stand your ground kind of Dragon Knight with BKB AC. You could maybe go the Ags route if you want. But I think looking at the rest of his lineup, him having the AC aura is incredible for his team. It's Weaver, Sniper, Luna as 3 of his allies, so probably the way to go. But does need the BKB because there's just too much percentage-based damage, right? There's Reaper, there's Sunray, Huskar ult. There's a lot of value to having a BKB to block some of that and not get in kill range.
Really do want to try and find this Aegis fight. Smoke up from Whitemon, Kasane, Ryle. They're going to jump for crit. Time lapse is there though. Initial burst, not enough, and now the turnaround comes in. Whitemon, once again dying for his efforts at trying to initiate something around the mid.
Falcons are so ready. They're just reading the moves really well. I think only losing the Tusk there is actually a pretty decent result. That looked like it could have been a scary Chain Frost, but they did a good split up. Okay, they're going to lose more potentially here. Amar breaks on the smoke, so they know they're here. Yeah, Immersion's gone here.
It's going to be the jump with the crush in return. They get the jump over towards Crit, as Crit will die. But this is meaning that the Aegis will fall out of the hands of Tomato. Falcons ready to set up for round 2. Is there anything to help him out? They're trying to heal him here with the Sunray, but Tomato cannot withstand the immense amount of damage that Falcons are able to throw out. They'll get him with the Supernova, but Falcons can easily turn, take it out. They have still lost a couple of casualties here with the supports. The buyback will come out from Snaking. to try and make sure that Mallory and Skeeter continue to stand on top in this team fight. They'll head in, take out Whitemon. So Tundra, they get something, but if anything, just ends up as nothing more than an even trade. It's not what they need. They needed more around that Aegis.
That did not play out the way I thought it was going to. I actually thought they were just going to kill the Phoenix, and that was going to be the end of it. But Tomato came in and took the fire for his Phoenix and used the Aegis. So you see this moment here. It looks like Immersion could become in trouble, but Tomato really gets in there and gets the crit kill, but ends up completely sacrificing his positioning, and the formation of the Dire Heroes is just super awkward now. And he cannot withstand this amount of physical damage on the Husker, even with a Sunray trying to heal him up. As she said, the trade-offs do happen. We get the Reaper on the Dragon Knight, and they lose the Supernova, but ultimately, an even trade for Tundra just isn't really good enough, right? Keep coming back to the way these lineups inherently work, and this is the time of the game that Tundra's lineup is supposed to be winning the game. And as it stands, they're staying afloat in it, so that is not particularly good news.
Falcons, I very much know they have the strength to look for kills themselves. Whitemon, it's going to be found in the mid. Buys a little bit of time with the snowball, but will not be living through this. Another kill. And now Marine at this stage, he can aggressively get set up into stepping onto Tundra's half of the map.
I think something I noticed in the previous fight, I think we're okay for now in terms of, yeah, they got away. So something I noticed in the previous fight that I think is kind of interesting about the sniper pick as well is this hero obviously thrives off playing with vision, right? It's kind of like when you play Tinker Bounty Hunter, where you want to track heroes so you can constantly hit your spells on them. Sniper is playing with a Luna and a Weaver. So at night time, he has the Luna night vision in the middle of the fight, so you can easily isolate targets and stick on them. And with Weaver, you hit the Swarm, Sniper can just keep sticking on them. So it's actually really impactful the way that they have built this lineup around the Sniper. We were mainly focusing on the laning aspect of, you know, the matchup that he had in mid, but this is like a beautiful additional benefit that they took advantage of in the previous fight, but Sniper was just hitting someone that he would not, I feel like would not normally be able to stick on in terms of vision. And that is going to remain a problem for the rest of the game. This is something you can't itemize your way out of as Tundra. You just need to be able to fight him head on and ideally jump him. Crit.
He was trying for it, but they were set up.
Done.
They make sure he doesn't get away with that one.
That's such a clean play from Tundra. Very nice.
They very much knew he was going to be going for that.
Falcons will get the other one, though. Goes the way of Skitter. Tormentors are available. I wonder if either team is really particularly interested in them. There's obviously the Sunray Shard is incredible for the side of Tundra. That one you would love to have. Huskar Shard is actually pretty good too.
Wamar into a bit of a dangerous area here. He's going to try for the TP out. They have got the snowball to stop it. Zamar slowly but surely fall.
Yeah, Tundra are finding a couple of pretty good moves here. Question is if you can get any collateral out of this, as you would love to with their strategy. They would like to, you know. It's one thing to kill cores, but ideally you really want to constrict the enemy team from finding space on the map. And now they will not be able to steal this shard, so well done by Falcons to grab this before the move was actually coming down from Tundra here to potentially steal it with the Slardar. Shard will be going over to Crit. So really nice both for farming and teamfight damage. The Weaver Shard, I think, is incredibly powerful.
For Tundra, at this sort of stage, is it just a case of waiting for the next Roche before you try to sort of make any of these moves around your Husker?
Probably. It feels too high risk to just straight up go for a tower without an Aegis. But it also feels like the next one has to really count, right? You're not going to be satisfied with burning the next Aegis to do okay in a fight. Crit.
He's got the time lapse. And he's also got the backup. Marine's here. A situation where Whitemon, he's rolled in a bit too deep.
A couple of his snowballs in this game just have not been that great.
And they're trying to push for more. Jump foot from up. At the same time, Kastani's able to get in on top of Marine. Tomatoes in as well. The BKB closing the gap and on the snipe. They've got this Reaper snipe. They take out the sniper. Excellent position here with the egg on the high ground, but it isn't going to be enough to allow Tundra to take this fight. Is the damage too much from Falcons? Tundra, they had to throw everything into killing off the sniper, but they cannot get anything else, and they lose every one.
And they're also going to lose the tier 1. And now The question is, are you also going to lose Roche? He could respawn in 5 seconds. If you're lucky on Falcons and you scout this area, you might just be able to sneak it right now, but let's see what the timer looks like. Oh, that was the guaranteed respawn. It wasn't when he could respawn, I'm sorry. But they didn't check it in time, did they?
They're not checking the spot. They will now. Now they'll go over, and indeed, once they see that, they'll certainly want to take that away.
Oh, boy. Yeah, if Tundra doesn't get this, my win expectancy for them is plummeting right now. This was arguably the most important objective of the whole game, was getting Roche number 2 for Tomato's Huskar, and that will be denied. Well, for Falcons, hopefully it won't actually be denied, but...
And it's just sort of a question of what can Tundra do that was different to that last attempt of the fight, right? Because a lot of things seem to be all right with the way they set things up, right? They get the jump onto the sniper, they throw everything on him, they take him out. The Phoenix is supernova on the cliff. It's a good spot, but it didn't matter. They
could have, first of all, chosen not to take it after Whiteman died, right? That was the first thing. So I understand that it's tempting and that you feel like you have to do something with your hero, so I think it's easy to say in hindsight they just shouldn't have done it. Because they must be feeling the same sense of urgency that I am with their lineup, right? That they're like, okay, this is when we should be strong. If we're not good enough to win these fights, then we're just not winning, right? So I don't mind them taking the fights, but it's just really difficult. The Frost Shield is making things very hard. When they jump that sniper, he survived for a really long time on Malrine. And naturally, when you do go in for these kills, you're going to be clustering up. So the Chain Frost was really big. You got, I think, the Swarm on multiple heroes. Eclipse was obliterating them. It's just hard to initiate into this Radiant lineup without having multiple BKBs, and as it stands, you only have the one on the Huskar, so the other heroes just got wiped off the surface of the earth by spells.
Put their eyes on him in the mid, but they won't go for the jump upon him. Hit the scan, they know that there's backup behind him. Settle for the push onto the tier 2, fortification to come out on a TP over Brawl. He's ready to potentially start the defense. Whitemon also ready to join him. Further TPs to be coming in. Brawl, he's considering very aggressive here as he looks towards Skeeter. Still there are Mar and Crit watching from the sidelines. They have the Aegis and the cheese on Falcons. They're ready to fight if it goes on. And Kasani, he'll try and get the jump on Snaking. Snaking's able to split away from them. Whitemon will get taken out. He will manage to make sure that they bring Snaking down. But at this point, Tundra, do they still want to fight this? Tomato's going to try. Jumps in over towards Malrine, but Malrine's able to keep the distance. BKB's up from Amar. Falcons, they can kite out the supernova. Brawl throws the side down onto Malrine. Malrine will get another shrapnel out, but he will finally fall. They get a couple of kills. Not a bad turn of events here for Tundra, considering the fact that they were fighting into both the Aegis and the cheese. With the crush out onto Crit, they'll find themselves a third kill. Excellent fight.
Really good fight from Tundra. The way they ended up setting this up, and with Brawl having this much freedom afterwards to come through, I actually thought that fight was going to go terribly wrong after Sniper got the pike off on Huskar before he got BKB off, but they kind of stabilized it well, dragged out the fight. Necrofox got to do a ton of damage just walking through them, getting a good Reaper. Yep, call me surprised. I did not think that fight was going to go that well, even though they traded straight away support for support. Getting the Lich out of the fight is obviously pretty big. He didn't get Chain Frost off, but
Radiant's bottom tower
not quite enough staying power there for the side of Falcons, so
we'll see if Tundra are able to do this again, because of course, despite the outcome of the fight, still 8k gold behind Falcons. Not with the same straight up ease of scaling. We'll find another pick-off on Snaking. Mardo here should be able to solo the Tormentor.
Yep, so that's a shard for the Tusk. Not the best one, but you know, everything, it adds up. They kind of cut the lead in half just now by getting those kills and then getting the Tormentor, so very good news for the side of Tundra. On the side of Falcons, Amar will be finishing his AC in about a minute and a half, probably. Talked about how big that item is going to be for the overall flow of team fights, so that is going to be a major upgrade for them. Shard's
tries to jump in, but straight away the turnaround's there from Falcons.
He's just getting punished so hard on this Tuskar. Every single time he has a little bit of a misstep on the Tusk, they just kill him off immediately. His tally is now up to 8. At the very least for Tundra, there are no additional casualties, just a simple Tusk kill in the end of the world. And Tomato gets this time to potentially finish up an AC as it looks. getting that before the Ags. So recognizing the similar thing that we saw from Falcons, that this is just an incredible Cuirass game, and it is for both teams. It's very nice for his Slardar to have the AC in the team. It's nice for him himself. He needs the armor, so don't mind it. And even opting to go for the Ogre Seal Totem on Huskar as well, right, in his options. You could have imagined that there were other potential pickups here, but really recognizing that mobility here is going to be the name of the game. He needs to be able to stick on targets. When he ultis in on them and they get force staffed away or pike or whatever, having that Seal Totem to cover the distance can be big. Whitemon again.
They're going to find him.
Oh, God. It's a tough life out there.
He can't catch a break this game, poor old Tusk.
Yeah, being a Walrus is not the best when you're playing against a guy with a gun. It's not really fair, if you think about it. Being hunted all around.
He's getting them further info. He's able to get the bugs out to both Braille and Kasani. Amar jumps forward. They'll throw down the Dragon Tail stun on towards Braille. Skeeter stepping up. Braille still incredibly tanky, of course, with this heart, and he has the backup of Tomato by his side. So Falcons, they'll hold back.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Settle for the tower. Skeeter getting the push on down the mid. Aghanim's now done for Braille, so a good amount of damage he's going to be kicking out with his heart Aghanim's combo online.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Maybe even thinking about fighting back Tundra. Seemingly in position to try and go for something from the back lines of this fight. They'll get him with the jump, but it's not towards the illusion. A bit of an illusion bait there, successful from Skeeter, causes Kasani to make a failed initiation, and now Maori is in with the damage. Kasani's trying to run, but the assassinate hit, it's coming in, takes him down. Crit, time-lapse to jump away from the efforts of Tomato. They can go for more here, Falcons, to get the pull back onto Braille. Tomato considering if he can do anything to help out, but Braille surrounded by the 5 of them. Skeeter picks up the double. Falcons, they get the clean kills, and Tundra, they can't do anything this time to stop them.
What a great illusion bait. That really set the tone for the entire fight, because Kasane sees this Luna and he's like, all right, we're going to commit to this kill. And obviously when you go on your Slardar with these items, you're not getting out again. So he went all in to kill an illusion, essentially, and the fight just completely fell apart. The presence of mind from Skitter to make that play in that moment is very impressive to me. So they send in Amar. And it's believable too, right? Because the Dragon Knight is jumping. He's straight up jumping the Necrophos and stunning him. And usually that feels like a wasted stun if you're not going to commit on him, right? Because he has heart, he has a lot of regen, he has Ghost Shroud that you need to get through. So when Dragon Knight does that, your instinctive reaction as a player is they're going hard to kill this Necro.
So that
has to be the right Luna, right? And it's just an illusion. So it's just a complete fake-out play from Falcons. That was, for me, the play of the game right there. Just really cool stuff. And they reap a big reward. 3 kills, one of them being Bryle, who was starting to have a monstrous streak there, building that up. I say that, it was a killing spree, but he was 9-2, okay? That's good enough. Big kills. And I think that play in itself paid them 6k gold. Not bad.
They're getting a lot of money, especially on the support. You know, Crit, once again, really picking up the farm. And obviously a very different build to last game, but perfectly done so here to really deal and counter this Huskar, this Necrophos. He's pretty much got his Nullifier done.
Yeah, that's such a big item. The fact that his other cores don't have to buy the Nullifier means they can get even more efficient items, because he will always be able to connect it. He doesn't even need to get the hits off himself with it. There's a taunt.
See if it's enough.
It is.
It is.
Nice kill.
Not quite able to get the time-lapse off there with the stuns and the crushes.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward when Huskar gets his ult off on you, because you can't time-lapse when he's mid-air. Then he's just going to fly on back over to you and get the taunt anyway. So you kind of have to tank through it and hope for the best, but Kasane was there with the cover. Once the taunt expired, they had the crush and haze and take him out. So but yeah, as I was saying about the Nullifier on the Weaver, I think it's a nice luxury for his teammates that you have this support that is able to run around and connect it. As well, this could happen to any team really. When your support can apply the Nullifier and has this high level of mobility, you can trust that it's going to connect when it matters, and therefore you as a carry, or mid in this case on the Sniper as well, don't have to buy this item, and you can get way higher stat-efficient items. The Sniper's going for an MKB, Luna will be going for the Pike, and also neither of these heroes even want to buy it to begin with, right? That's the other thing. They're not really Nullifier carriers, so the support...
Sonic, it's going to show in the mid. It's going to have the snowball save coming in from Whitemon.
This is going to get real awkward, Owen.
But I don't know if there's any way out of this one. They're surrounded, and there is indeed no escape this time. Not only Whitemon dying off the back of that, both the two of them, him and Kasani, down in the mid.
Just a straight slip up though, right? The other teammates were not even remotely close. You're in the middle of the map 33 minutes in as Tusk Slardar showing on the wave. That's just such an easy choice for Falcons to make there. To get that big punish on them. Just by nature of how their lineup works now, Tundra, I think, have to play incredibly tight. I think they really need all their heroes in the fights together and not take skirmishes.
Ryle tried to come over here to see if they can get something done. Tomato there as well. They make the jump over towards Peter. They do get him, but it will cost them all of their lives. And Roshan's up. They may have killed the carry, but I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to work out that that was not worth Sin.
I'm a little bit dumbfounded by this move to begin with. They also flat out 3-on-5. I mean, high risk, high reward, I get it, but...
I mean, did they just not expect the full squad to be there? Or?
Perhaps, but this is the most obvious place on the map to be right now, right? It's Roche time. You're playing against a Huskar lineup. You have a lineup that's more than capable of taking it yourselves. I think Tundra was expecting to run into trouble there, but maybe they just thought they were stronger than they actually were, or maybe it was the case of, okay, guys, Hail Mary, we cannot possibly give them this Aegis anyway, so we just hope for the best when we go for this play. But yeah, it's fair to say that if Falcons have any sort of decent formation there, they will never lose that fight 5v3. So, and they obviously didn't. If anything, getting the Luna kill there is honestly pretty decent. Yeah, this is just straight up getting out of control now, Falcons. 25,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, they just got the free pickup here for Amar. He's now got his Agonims from that Roche.
Yep.
Giving this this very impressive looking amount
And
of net worth on the graph.
Yeah, okay. Dragon Knight with 30k net worth, huh?
Oh.
That's fine.
Well, he tried. Tried to get the steal on the Wisdom Rune there, Immersion. Doesn't get it. Now the high ground push.
Radiant's top tower is
Most
under
imminent
attack.
here from Falcons. Tomato is stepping outside of the base. In fact, he's thinking about going for this. A very desperate attempt there from Tomato. Will it work out? He's put the BKB. It will not. He is gone.
This is just...
I mean, that...
Now it's just falling apart, Owen. This is just complete.
I mean, they might even be able to dive in for Bryle. Crit's got him with a nullify. They're going to get him as well. That may be that. As this bottom set of racks will almost certainly be taken. It's 4 dead on Tundra.
If they know there's no buybacks, they could throne, actually. They could take this tier 3 and straight throne in time. Yep.
I think they might.
All right, let's
over
go.
to the tier 4s. They're ready
over.
to close this one up. The fortification will be there. See if Tundra are able to pull together one final fight. Maybe looking like unlikely that they'll get the time to do so. Still with his 40 seconds, the Tomato's dead for 50 seconds without Bryle. Immersion, Kasane, they're going to try for something, but they get jumped first. Straight away over towards Immersion. He's gone. Kasane has the BKB and run back to the fountain, but it is over. GG is called. No doubt about it here today.